everybody, it's Lily and I'm back with a quick week 3 Camp NaNoWriMo writing update. And it hasn't gone that well, to be perfectly honest. Some of you might be wondering why I am continuing to update on my progress if it's not going well, but I personally think that people's struggles are more informative, or at least just as informative as when people are successful at whatever they're doing. So at least for myself, I think it's worth it to talk through what's going on, and I hope some of you feel the same way and maybe you'll get something out of this. So week 3, my total word count for my novel is sitting just shy of 100,000 words. I think it's at like 97,500 words, or a little bit more than that. It might actually be right up at 98,000. So I'm really close to 100,000 words, which is kind of a crazy benchmark that I'm coming up on. When I started this project, I was wondering how to even write 50,000 words. I was like, how on earth is that ever going to happen? It was so daunting. I had never written anything longer than a 10-page-ish short story. So to think, you know, I have to write something that'll go on and be interesting for at least 50,000, if not 70,000 plus words, and keep people's attention, and I just have to simply have that much material. It was daunting, to say the least. So it's kind of crazy that now I am up at just about 100,000 words and still have more to go. It's kind of exciting just to be able to say that I've written a project that's this big. But that being said, I am still kind of stuck like I was last week. That might be because I recorded and posted that video last week on like Wednesday, so halfway through this week. So not a ton has changed. I think I mentioned in my last video that I ended up sending off my working draft to both my mom and my dad because I value both of their opinions on writing, and we share some of the same genre interests. So my dad, I know for sure, has been reading my novel. I haven't talked to him about it yet, but hopefully he'll finish them soon and I will be able to kind of bounce ideas off of him. My mom hasn't had a chance yet to start reading it, which is totally understandable. I mean, if you don't know, if you're not really familiar with you know, writing and how long is 100,000 words, well, on Word at 12 point Times New Roman font, double spaced, it's about 300 pages. So that gives you an idea, maybe a little bit better of an idea for some people, about how long that is. So I understand it's a big undertaking to read it, and obviously she has to set aside the time to do that. Another thing that I quickly decided upon after recording last week's video, it was almost immediately after. I was kind of like, should I even post this video since I've already changed my mind? But I did. Throughout this process, once I finally really started writing this novel and getting really serious about it, I decided that I was not going to look backwards. I was going to write forwards. I'd make notes. I have a whole separate document with notes about things that I've already decided I need to change, or I have changed and it's different earlier in the book, or, you know, ideas and things for separate parts of the book, but I'm not going back to add anything or change anything until I get to the end. Or that was my initial idea for how I was going to go about this. And for the most part, that's held true. I haven't really gone back and changed anything or edited anything, but I have decided that since I've been working on this project for just shy of a year now, and I've been, you know, it's such a long time to be working on something that I sort of feel like I now, even though it's not quite finished, need to go back to the beginning and read it all the way through until where I am right now. I'm not going to edit anything. It's not for editing. It's just kind of to get a sense of the story as a whole. Like, obviously I know what's going on in my head, but I think being able to read it and see, you know, how I've laid it out, it will help my writing process. At least I hope it will. And I think I'm just overthinking things. I think if I actually go back and read what I have, I might be a little bit more encouraged than I am right now. I feel right now that I don't have enough, it's not filler, but like smaller things to go on between the small little climaxes. So hopefully if I go back, I'll either get ideas or realize that it's going better than I thought it was. So I am planning on going back and rereading what I have and then going from there. I am still writing some of the scenes that I do have planned out in my head, so I'm not like giving up on writing it. it's just, I'm not necessarily going to be connecting things right now. It's things that I know when they're going to happen. I know that they need to happen. I just don't know what's going to happen between the pieces. So that's what's going on right now. Yeah, so not a ton to update on for Camp NaNoWriMo. It's a little upsetting just because I was looking forward to Camp NaNoWriMo so much, because I had really enjoyed regular big NaNoWriMo in November. And it's not like I'm giving up on my project. And I almost think that part of the problem with this project, or with Camp NaNoWriMo this time through, is that I'm so much further along in my story than I was for regular NaNoWriMo. So for regular NaNoWriMo, I started out, I think, with only having, I think it was around 13,000 words already written. It was pretty much just an expanded version of the original short story that I had written. I'd gone back and edited through and kind of filled in some of the gaps that needed to be filled if it wasn't going to be a short story, but rather a first couple chapters of a book. So that's about all I had when I started NaNoWriMo in November. So there was a long way to go, and there was a lot of growing my characters needed to do, and a lot of discovery that I needed to make. So it was really pretty much a fresh project still then. I hadn't really gotten going on writing it. But for Camp NaNoWriMo, the problem is that I have been writing this for so long, and I think I started camp at 80,000 words. I think it was 80,000 words. So that's significantly further along than I was at the beginning of Big NaNoWriMo. So I think that's what is making it a bit harder this time through. It's almost a finished project, so there's kind of that pressure that I'm putting on myself there to get it done, and it just needs to get there at this point. I mean, there is some discovery and things that are obviously still going on, but it's not quite as new and exciting as it was. Not that it's not exciting, this sounds kind of bad, but I don't know, you probably understand what I'm trying to say. It's not a new project, so some of the excitement isn't quite there anymore. I'm more excited to get to the end now than I am to discover what happens in the middle, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's pretty much what's going on with Camp NaNoWriMo. Not a lot of great things to report, but I think this entire experience, mostly just with writing a novel in general, has been kind of enlightening. I didn't think it was ever going to be easy to write a book. Obviously, I hadn't done it until now, so obviously it was always a daunting task, but I didn't realize just how much goes into it. And it's not even like I'm a super planner when it comes to these things. It's just a lot of things came up that I wasn't really expecting. So it's been an eye-opener, to say the least. All right, I guess that pretty much sums up this week's NaNoWriMo update. Not a lot of great things to report, but that's okay. I mean, we all have our ups and downs. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.